announcement for all the faint-hearted. You might want to dip before the jerks get started. If you like frank conversation, then pull up a seat. If you like the unexpected, then you're in for a treat. But you're not a captive, there's no ransom to pay. You can just hit the X if you don't want to play. Don't like what we do, then you can hit the X. Don't like what we say, you can hit the X. Don't wanna join the crew, you can hit the X. You don't have to stay, you can hit the X. This is not a hostage situation, you can hit the X. This is not a hostage situation, you can hit the X. This is not a hostage situation. This is not a hostage situation. This is not a hostage situation.
You're embarrassing yourself. Go to bed.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in.
Hey,
Hello.
Pearl. Good to see you, Pearl. We were a little worried.
Oh my God. Do you know what? I'd forgotten where we used to put the StreamYard links. And I was going through all the different sections thinking, where is the link? Where? Oh, yes, we used to have a special section.
Oh,
So,
well,
yes, I'm here.
you can take the late off your name because you made it before the right as I get the intro. So
You did. You got here
you
in
don't have
time.
to have late there.
Also, I was finishing off a little video for Nonsense because I thought I could provide some receipts. So it's just uploading in the side. So if you want to say some hellos to everybody while I do that, because I need to play that before we do anything else, really.
Perfect. I do want to. We have a new member, Rock a Bit. Thank you for joining membership, and also Josh B, member for 14 months. Thank you so much. And we got Rock a Bit here. So let me just play a little something for them. Let me see. Let's do this one.
She actually rode the short bus, buddy.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
We hadn't done it in so long. I had to.
That was a blast from the past.
It was.
Right. We have some
Of
good
course, Pope was doing. Sorry, darling.
I said we have some good ones back there.
Of course, Pope was up to her usual routine, trying to drop soup in it, trying to sort of stir up trouble so that there'd be some bad feeling between soup and Cluminati in the Bee. I mean, not that there's any love lost anyway, but regardless, Perp's out there trying to say that soup was urging her to
Right.
go after them. The nerve. She said cover. There's a difference. Not everything has to be aggression, Perp.
That's it. She said cover. She didn't say none of that. You just
Well-
add that in there all on your own in your little purple marble rolling around brain.
In Perp's defense, she doesn't really get a lot right. So what was really expected there?
So you got yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, today a show was provided for her. She literally just sat there
Right?
like a lemon, and no offense to any lemons out there. And then the show sort of rolled on around her. I've got to say, salute to Jessie. It's been a long time coming for you to let go of all those feelings, and I genuinely hope that you feel better for it. We all know how much pressure you've been under. It must be very difficult, even with the distance and the fact that you've moved on and you've got your own family. It must be very difficult to live your life alongside the rolling circus that is Susan and Susan's lies. So I completely sympathise with your venting this afternoon, and I truly hope that it made you feel better.
Yeah, same.
Speaking of feeling
Before
better,
anybody
Pollyanna.
oh, I'm sorry.
Pollyanna, if you're listening, darling, we love you very much. We hope you're feeling a little bit better. We hope they're giving you the good meds and that everything is going to go forward so that when you get out of hospital, this will be over. But we love you very much.
I got to talk to her a little bit this morning in the
Excellent. I
voice
didn't
chat.
realise that she could. I
Yeah,
didn't realise that she was in the chat.
she's a little rebel.
Mm-hmm.
She's a little rebel. She does what she wants. I'll tell you. So yeah, I got to chat with her a little bit. That was nice. Made me feel better to hear from her. I do want to address something before everybody starts asking. Soup isn't going to make it tonight, guys. She's got stuff going on at home. She's got weather, all kind of stuff. So before everybody says, "Where's Soup?"
Yeah, we knew it was
She's not
coming.
still pooping. She's actually busy with something at home. So anyway, all right, we can move on from that. But I knew that was gonna. Yes, it's flooding real bad in that area. So.
Okay, right. I was just waiting for things to actually upload. Do we want to start with the nonsense of it all before I screen share? I have got the live open in the window. So, oh, hang on. It's telling me that we've got a lot of files. Yes, we know we've got a lot of files.
Just delete
Okay.
something, Pearl.
It's okay. I've got the thing that I want. There's no music on this video because I really wanted people to hear what was being said. We're actually going to cover a larger section rather of this live, which is Granny's watching from Monday. But I particularly wanted to focus on this little bit because once again, I mean, I know that we hammer this so often that we're constantly being pushed a narrative. People's narrative is more important than actual facts. But here is the classic example. Nonsense maintains that there have been terrible comments made about her child in the Jerks chat left unchecked. I want to challenge that. Yes, I am able to share screen, but I'm going to play this video first. I say I'm able to share screen. I'm going to attempt to share the screen. I may fumble the bag before we get the bag safely in the...
It's okay, Pearl.
Okay, so...
No problem. We'll get through it.
We will. We'll do it just fine. While she's doing that, I did want to pop up a picture real quick. I uploaded it. Let me see. Okay, here. This is the latest Summer Wells age progression that was done. And so I just wanted to pop that up before we get into all the nonsense of it all. And, I just wanted to pop that up and show you the latest one. I know some people, I think, have a really hard time imagining Summer aging. Some don't think it really looks like Summer. I think it actually looks like her big brother. So, the family trait is definitely there. So, anyway, I just wanted to share that all out.
Thank you for posting that, Eliza.
You betcha. Summer is the reason that I know these wonderful ladies.
Yeah, that's how we all met.
Yeah.
I prefer to think of that as honouring the unfortunate disappearance of a little girl rather than thinking about the fact that actually we all met at Ziggy's. But the reason we were at Ziggy's was because we were interested in what had happened to this little girl. Anyway, moving on to nonsense. This is 4 minutes of receipts. All of them got dates on. I would like to see some receipts in return, but I don't expect that there will be any. But anyway, here we go.
Last Monday, Nonsense was, once again, repeating the already debunked narrative that the jerks allowed abusive comments about her child to be written in their chat, unchecked. This time it was over on Granny's Watching's channel, in a discussion with Chasing. To be fair to Chasing, she did try to challenge that narrative.
I think everybody wanted to take up for Cash because every community loves them. You know,
not
every
everybody
community
got accused of exploiting Cash for money and exploiting their child to Cash. And there was a lot of people that at one time I considered friends or people I cared about that were very comfortable sitting in those places, or people that I just gave respect. That's when shit really shifted with me, and not necessarily you, because me and you have never had like a personal anything, but that's when the real big shift for me changed. These people were they were privy to the fact that Kenzie was struggling mentally. Cash reached out, they became friends. There was never any exchange of money, but that was openly said over and over again in the soups, the jerks, whatever, many times. And people just went with it. And it was like, are you fucking kidding? And then these same people say, don't talk about children. Yes, she's a fucking adult. She was an adult, but that's fucked up. And that's where, for me, it was
It's
done.
still your kid.
Yeah, it's done. Well, especially because Cash came into her life at such a time where she needed a friend. And it was because she was struggling with mental health. And she was open with that online and, you know, behind the scenes. Like everybody knew that's how they became friends, is because Cash was such a good person to our family and her, and just was there for her. So to have that's where shit shifted for me. And it became a fuck for good.
Fix Up who said, like, don't exploit your child or
Yep.
something?
And then TPE and the whole fucking thing.
Okay, so.
And then Brittany did a live stream, restreaming that live stream. It's in her members only, and saying all this shit, including that I was likely behind the accounts that were made on Kyle and shit, that I'm a child trafficker. Yeah, then it just snowballed.
Okay, that's insane.
Yeah.
I remember you streamed about them saying you're exploiting your kid, and then they streamed saying don't put her out, like, don't tell her business out here, not exploiting her to Cash so she could con Cash.
There were comments in their chat that were not removed.
Okay, I'm saying that
yeah, I know.
That's how they explained it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As you heard, Nonsense is committed to the narrative that the jerks allowed, in their chat, awful allegations to be made about her child many, many times. There's one pretty big problem with that narrative. It never happened. Let's check some dated receipts. The first live about the Yep situation was from Johnson on March 9th, 2025. Nonsense made a Yep awareness live on March 11th, 2025. So let's head over to the Jerks homepage, put the live listings on latest, and check out the lives where all these comments were made. March and April must be teeming with vitriolic live shows. Maybe even May and June. Wait, it looks like there was a massive gap where the jerks weren't even going live. Let's check the dates of the last live before the long break. Our last live before the long break was about Casey Anthony and was broadcast on March 5th, 2025. That's before the Yep situation even became a public discussion. So when was the next one? The next live, about Ziggy, was broadcast on June 30th, 2025. So, where are all those live shows full of chat comments? We don't delete content, and yet there aren't any live shows by the jerks where comments could possibly have been made in the chat and left unchecked. In fact, it looks like your claims are nonsense.
Nonsense indeed.
So there you go. Like I said, I come with receipts. I would appreciate some receipts in return. And if you can't provide receipts, then I'd like you to shut down this stupid narrative that you are determined to keep repeating. I'm sorry that your feelings were hurt. I'm sorry that you were offended by the fact that we don't think you should necessarily speak about your adult child's mental health. That's her story to tell. You can disagree with that. That's fine. We can disagree with it. That's also fine. But the way that you fight back is to make these sort of allegations repeatedly when there is no evidence. You distort what Six Up said. Again, I would love to refer everybody back to Tragedy Pimps Exposed live sort of screen recording of what he said at the point that things are being said actually on the live. And the fact that you notice that it has nothing to do with exploitation for money or any of that. It's talking about your adult child's mental health. And should you really be doing that? And the Soup and I are up on panel. It's at Soup's. And we flip through that live where she's talking because we don't want to repeat or rebroadcast those things because, again, it's not something that we agree with. But constantly, at every opportunity, you get up. I mean, you're on Granny's watching. Granny was watching we're going to go into it, trying to sort of sort out her new attorney for Oklahoma. So she's off panel. And while she's off panel and Chasing has come up to talk about the skunk tattoo, she decides that she needs to go into all this again. And then there's also a side conversation about Clue and essentially giving Clue a pat on the back, which is quite something. So I thought I'd come in with the receipts first so that when she starts doing this whole routine of they allowed things to go unchecked, you've already seen we weren't live during any of this period. Nobody from the Jerks chat was making comments.
Yeah, it didn't happen. And can these people learn about words and things like somebody saying don't exploit your child doesn't mean that anybody thinks that you're trafficking them? There's other... It just drives me nuts. Why would you jump to that instead of like, don't exploit that situation? Don't exploit your daughter's situation online. That has nothing to do with trafficking. This sector is obsessed with trafficking.
Absolutely
Weird.
obsessed. And I haven't read the comments, but I saw Cash's name go past in the side. And I just want to say, we have always maintained, absolutely, he has every right to talk about his personal experience of being exploited by Yep. No one has an issue with that. No one should ever question it. But I do take offence at this notion that we were part of this whole thing that was said. No. I don't know who said that. I just know that I want it to stop. It's unfair on the people who come into our chat, our regulars, to be painted with this brush of having been part of making comments that were left unchecked. No, there were no lives, so how could it possibly be?
Couldn't.
Okay, Karen, darling.
That's it. I have a lot of thoughts on that other part that you want to go over. So I did get a chance.
I do. So shall we? Shall I attempt?
I had some thoughts. Yes.
To hit it.
Anytime you're ready, hon. I know Tanga's going to have some thoughts on this too.
I'm sorry about that. I had to mute. It got noisy here for a second.
I was just saying, I'm sure you're going to have thoughts on this.
Oh, absolutely.
Bit that she's going to play because here we go.
that chat. However, and she might not know like all the different things that have been weaponized, because chances are she doesn't. I've never talked to her about a lot of things, but still, like there's just some shit that no.
That's what I mean. Like he's not chosen.
Yeah. It started in Nunez, and a troll, I guess, somebody called Go something. Somebody in the chat, I don't know what it is. They say it's Laura. I have no idea who it is, but they came in.
Can I just check that you're all hearing that okay?
Yes, we are hearing it.
Fantastic.
We
I
can
will
see it and hear
continue. I will continue.
Everybody in chat, if there's a problem, please let us know. But
And it was like, stop making chasing the next victim because Granny's suing her. She never said that. And we were all like, what the fuck are you talking about? Who even are you? So somebody blocked them, and then Laura came in. And Laura's like, that's me. And then they ended up timing out Laura. And then the other account that's supposedly Laura, Rachel, came in, just talking shit too. So I want to say Soup was like, no, I was the one who said I was suing Chasing because she created that tattoo. And I was like, I think the tattoo is adorable. So I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about.
Can I just explain for any of you who are unaware? Granny's Watching has a skunk tattoo that's holding a gavel in celebration of her, the big anti-slap case win. And allegations have been made that it was some sort of troll move. Now, I know for a fact from what I've seen of Chasing in private conversations that she likes the tattoo. But for some reason, even a tattoo becomes an issue in this sector. What the hell? So yes, they're discussing Granny's Watching's tattoo, whether it's a troll. Did Soup suggest there was going to be legal action over it? And the madness will continue into other spheres in a minute. But
yeah, Soup made
Lord.
a joke about suing Chasing for designing that tattoo. It was a joke. Nobody's suing Chasing.
Soup forgets that there is a limited number of senses of humor in this sector. In fact, I'm going to start up a site and I will make an advert that, do you have a sense of humor? Would you like somebody to benefit from your sense of humor when you die? Join our donor register.
She made that joke at a time where everybody is suing everybody on YouTube. I mean, by golly, Ziggy's going to sue Dietz and Ryan Finds Truth for, she's not really going to sue him, but she says she's suing him. Everybody's suing everybody. It's insane. So it was a joke.
Look, I know I'm showing my hand here, but let me just say in passing, it is really difficult to make a candle out of a threat of legal action. But I did it. But anyway.
I can't wait to see that.
It's not finished yet. I've still got other Confusion Crew candles to accrue into that little group with Dietz and Gavel. And we've got an updated Cluminati advert later. But let's go back to yes, they are discussing legal action over a skunk tattoo.
Yes.
It's adorable. Stop saying that it's not, because, like, are you trolling me or her? Because I think it's very cute. Like, I wouldn't have sent it to her if I didn't. And I think people at first thought that I was making a joke, like that I didn't really make it. And I'm like, yeah, I did. And they're like, you're serious? Why would you send that to her? I was like, what? It's cute. What are you talking about? So I left that alone. Like, okay, they're gaslighting me. This is actually a joke. Like, they don't really feel that way because it's adorable. So what the fuck is this? But then I started thinking, okay, I'm seeing other comments now from idiots who are trying to say, oh yeah, Chasing sent her like bad tattoos on purpose because she was hoping she'd get it. And I'm like, are you stupid? Like, she said she wanted a skunk with these things. Like, that's exactly what I sent. Just stop. So before there was issues with all of you guys between each other, I sat in Nonsense, Grannies, Queens, Jonesins, Nunyas, The Jerks, Soups. I don't know why it's an issue that I sit there now. I get it because you guys all don't like each other, but I've always sat in those same places.
But why don't they? Why do they suddenly not like me, Jason?
I think they feel like...
Why did these people support me up until a particular moment?
I can't directly answer for them, but from what I am gathering, they feel like everything's changed. More with Nonsense, not with you.
Pause that
I don't
for
know
just
if
a
it was with
second.
you or if they've always felt that way.
I don't think that this is. We didn't really know a whole lot about Granny when we were popping up in her chat at first, and as we got to know a little more about her,
yes, that was the problem for me.
Yeah.
I was. I appreciated that she sort of ridiculed the whole Tiffany Marie, Benny Keys, the international grooming network that we were allegedly part of. I appreciated that, and said very much that, you know, sort of if anybody was coming for Granny over that, that we sort of had her back, and then a floodgate opened of people with receipts, and suddenly I'm like, I'm not sure whether this is going to be a budding friendship, really. I still maintain that the legal decision that your success in court was absolutely right. It was the right decision. And I didn't believe that that action should have been taken against you. But there are too many differences in our views, I would say. I don't wish you any ill will. I'm not particularly, it's not a place that I would choose to be. And also, you know, sort of some of the people who hang around there, I wouldn't feel comfortable with. But I absolutely will defend Chasing's right to go wherever the hell she wants. It doesn't make me uncomfortable at all that she's in Granny's Watching or in Nonsenses. I must admit, I'd side-eye her if I saw her in Clues. But then, you know, sort of that's a different thing altogether. But it is unfair that suddenly Chasing, who was, I would say, is probably one of the least cliquey people.
Really level-headed.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with her going other places, and I don't understand why other places have an issue with her coming here. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, and I can't get worked up about it. I'm sorry that you feel like that, but it's just like, that's a you problem. It's not a me problem.
And why is she worried about why we don't like her? I mean, if she wants to know, I'll tell her why I don't like her. You know, why I went and checked her out. That was before I really kind of knew about her. I did like, and I still admire the way she does her panels. She's very engaged with them, you know, typically. This clip that we're going to go over, she was a little busy, but mostly she's always there. She lets people up and all of that. But the stuff that is from the past, it bothers me, and it bothers me a lot. I get that you say, oh, this happened then or whatever. It's just it's like I'm good. We don't need to be friends. That's okay. And the other thing is all the Sebastian of it all.
Yeah. Yeah,
The whole bit about the Sebastian and these people that went in on it and stayed in on it until they lasted on and to BJ, and that's been the new thing. They went straight from Sebastian 24/7, and not in a good way, to the BJ. But you know, I don't think Granny's been involved in all of that. just the sector has, and I just was grossed out, still grossed out by it.
I don't necessarily dislike Granny. It's just not where I want to hang out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's not my cup of tea. And that's okay. I mean, I don't have it out for Granny or nothing.
Look, I'm just going to say that it doesn't have to be Granny's. If I scroll over some lives and I see like B Tim and Clue and nonsense, I'm scrolling on. I'm sorry, it's just I really don't want to listen to that.
Right. I'll stop for chasing. I'll listen to chasing. But
well, it was knowing that Jason had gone in there to talk about the tattoo that led to me listening to this last hour of the live, because I wouldn't normally. But I must admit, I will listen pretty much. If I see Chasing up on panel anywhere as I'm scrolling by, I will listen. And I can't give you any more respect than that. You know, it doesn't really matter what you're talking about. I will go in and listen. And
I prefer my true crime without a bunch of speculation and bullshit. That's why I don't watch.
Right.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. Exactly. And this other woman that's up there, Nonsense, I don't think I've ever watched the whole live stream. I've seen clips of her and whatnot. I think Soup has watched her, but I don't really know her. So I think I've seen her a few times on different panels. I don't think I've ever gone to her channel. That's what I want to say about Nonsense.
Shall I carry on, darlings?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just had to butt in there.
No, please do that, because, you know, sort of, I feel like I'm in the process of learning to drive a car and I'm still very much grinding the gears. So, like, give me a clue.
Okay. Like I said, I don't get into any of it. If they're talking about it, you're not going to see me chatting about it. I'm not chatting about it. The most I've said is them, the green team with their frivolous lawsuit needs to shut the fuck up. The whole thing, when all of it come out with Clue in the beginning, when the first comments came out, I used to go in Clue's chat. I would just mostly listen, though. I thought she was funny as shit. She said what was on her mind. I appreciated that. Then those comments from that man's chat came out, and I'm like, oh shit, this is horrible. It's not like she said one thing. She said a lot, and it was really bad in my opinion. So then she was gone. Cletus came back. The way he handled it was very mature, and I was like, okay, so she's probably going to come back and she's going to apologize or whatever. But she came back and was like, too fucking bad if you don't like it, period. Like, I said what I said, and I was like, oh, all right. So I unsubscribed, and I didn't think much of it. Nonsense ended up confronting her on Queen's panel, and I emailed Nonsense like, oh, I didn't know what you were going to do up there. I'm cheering for you over here like you had balls to go do that. She's Clue's extremely popular. That was that. A couple months passed by, and I noticed things are shifting a bit and changing. And I'm like, I don't really feel too comfortable being in the same space, so I'm just going to back off a little. And then it became more frequent, so I backed off a little bit more. And then finally, I was just like, Granny's going through all this, but I at least owe her the explanation of why I'm not there at this point. And I emailed you and said, it's not your problem. Yeah. It's my own problem. It's me. It's a me thing, not a you thing. And I know you're busy, and you owe me shit. You sit with who you want, do whatever you want to do. But from me, I felt like weird. Like when I came up to congratulate you on the Rico, and, Clue popped up and it wasn't any drama. I was just like, okay, see you later. And that was that.
Yeah. And I emailed you and thanked you for that and apologized.
Mm-hmm. And that was it. There's no hate. I don't hate Nonsense. Like, oh my God, she sat with Clue, or she's redirecting people to Clue's chat. I hate her. No, it was just like, okay. I mean, people are going to do what they want to do. It's not saying, oh, I condone her racism, but at the same time, it's like, well, if I remember when it all came out, I had made that video like, wow, a lot of people who frequent my chat are over there now. Like, maybe they just didn't see it, or worse, it doesn't bother them that she said these things. And that bothered me. And I'm like, fuck, like there's really good people who they'd be bothered by that, because it wasn't a one-off comment. It was a series of comments, and they were directly speaking about Black people. I didn't imagine that. That's what they were talking about. I went and listened for my own context, because again, I liked Clue. I thought she was very funny and bold. She said what the fuck she wanted to say, which is sometimes refreshing around here. And I was turned off by it, but who cares at the end of the day?
This is where I
there are
disagree
no
with
screenshots of
Chasing.
me.
This is where I disagree with Chasing. I don't find her funny or entertaining or any of that. Not, I don't find Clue. Chasing, I do find entertaining, but I don't find Clue to be funny at all, in my opinion.
No, I don't. I'm not. I don't get shocked laughter. You know, some people enjoy that sort of, somebody said something shocking, that sort of frisson. She says these things, and I'm just like, what is wrong with you?
I know. I'm just like, ew, gross. I mean, she has said some of the grossest stuff I've ever heard on YouTube.
Saying anything crazy. And I know I've heard over and over, well, I'm disappointed in Chasing because she sits over there. Well, I've always sat in different places. Not while people were being talked shit about, of course. I just leave. But I've been in plenty of chats recently where it is specifically about, oh, they're not calling this one out. They're okay because they sit with that one. And now it's become, more about Britney. And because people don't want to see her ganged up on, we must support Britney. I don't support Britney. I just think it's insane. We're in the 24/7 news hour of Britney J. And it's fucking crazy. I've never seen anything like it.
Amen, Chasing. Amen.
That's exactly it. This notion that you've got to be one team or the other. Either you pick up your knife and you plunge it into BJ along with the rest of the crowd, or you are absolutely white knighting. You think she's a saint, and it's like there's no middle ground. There's no nuance at all. It is possible to believe that this constant 24/7 one live channel reviews her previous night's lives, and then they redirect people over to the next channel that will do exactly the same thing to
On
exactly the same audience. It's just I cannot understand it.
It's like they're zombies. Is that chat zombies? I mean, they're just going along for the same thing over and over and over again. My goodness. It's just, I have a theory that some of these late night ones, I think they've just fallen asleep and get redirected into the other one, don't even know they were ever there.
I mean, I suppose I can understand if people are like, they've got it on in the background and they're doing other stuff. Lots of people listen to lives while they're actually doing constructive things. But it's the fact that you see the same people in the brief moments that I've been in there, you see the same names. And I don't even look now because I'm just not interested. Originally, I used to look because it's just like there must be something fascinating about all of this, but now it's reached levels of ridiculousness.
Yeah,
and I find myself therefore being cast as somebody who defends Britney. even while Britney herself is annoyed by me, having played me on her live, calling her a bigot.
I heard about that.
And saying that I don't like her. I mean, the idea that these are my only two choices, I either have to hate this woman and be in all the chats and watching all the lives, otherwise I'm a defender, is just
Right.
beyond ridiculous.
It doesn't make any sense to me either. Just because we can think that something's ridiculous doesn't mean that, oh, you know, you won't see me over in BJ's chat either. You know, I don't go there either. But it's just, I don't even have a problem with people reviewing her and calling her out for some of the stuff. But this constant.
It's very redundant, though. I don't understand it. I couldn't watch the same live 100 times a day, every day.
No, I couldn't. Cammie's comment made me laugh because I was thinking when she says, "I confess I have watched BJ while falling asleep at night." So, well, coincidentally, BJ has gone live falling asleep at night. So you're doing it together. That's really nice, sort of companionship. Joking aside, though, in the off chance that Brittany J is listening to this, please go and see somebody. I don't know what it is that's causing that, but you have got an issue somewhere there, and it really needs sorting out. And I'm also beginning to think that the fact that your partner encourages you to go on TikTok after you've already done lives on your own channel where you're nodding out because you're tired or you're pre-diabetic, you've got an issue, whatever the hell it is, I'm not naming it. I'm just saying it is obvious to anybody watching. And the fact that he then wants you to go on TikTok, it makes me wonder whether he's setting you up as rage bait.
This is a good question. And
I saw that too.
Stevie says, are these channels that you watched before, though? And
no,
actually, they are not, to be honest with you.
Did you watch Granny's Watching?
Yes.
No, I didn't watch Granny's Watching until the Tiffany stuff happened. And you were on her panel, I believe, Pearl.
Yes.
And that's like the extent of me really watching Granny's. I can't get into these 5, 6, 7 hour lives. I have the attention span of a gnat. I just can't do it.
Oh, I can't be. Even when I was watching, I was not watching a whole live like that. No, I found it interesting to dip in for a while and then sort of come out and do something. But depending on what was being discussed and who was up there. But eventually, sort of like the rotation of topics and the rotation of panel guests are just not for me. It's just the way it is. It's like sort of when you've watched a show on mainstream television and something changes about the cast or the writing, and it's just like it's not for me anymore.
Right. Yeah, I watched it for a little bit, and that's about the same time that Tanga's mentioning where this stuff is going on. But then I think it was within a short amount of time that we learned about the other stuff, and as we kind of went and heard that for ourselves and checked it out, it was a big turnoff for me, and I was just like, okay, I'm okay.
Now, Deets, I hope you weren't here earlier when I was talking about candles. Don't go back. Anyway, you know that I'm not talking about you because, I mean, like the Fred lives, it's just like, that is not just empty gossip. It is like real content. And then you've got the ridiculousness of when you were reading the comments under JP's video clips, and that was hilarious. So like, I'm sort of completely going back on what I've just said, that I can't watch a long live. I can, but it has to be something that I want to watch.
Yes.
Yeah, I will say this: these Fred Hill lives have been pretty good. When are we going to start those back up, Deets?
Yeah, Deets. One psycho contacts your husband, and all of a sudden the lives stop. We need him. We need him back. Very interested in those long lives. Another long live the other night. I believe it was a 5-hour live. It seemed to pass by in a really short amount of time. It didn't seem like it was 5 hours. Was 6 Ups
It really
live
didn't.
with Fred's sister. If you have not seen that, go check it out. It was really good, and it's a kind of live that you can just kind of put on, and you don't even have to watch the chat. Just you can listen to it while you're doing other things. It was very, very interesting live. I really enjoyed it.
It
Dude
really
says,
was
I
very,
know,
very
maybe
interesting.
soon. Life just got hella busy. Maybe soon. Okay, so the truth is, Ziggy got through to her husband, shut it down. I'm so sad now.
I have to say, Deets, I hope that your dog is doing better, because I know that your dog wasn't very well at all.
Jason, can I ask you a question?
And I agree.
Go ahead, Granny.
Well, I was just going to say, I personally have said the restreaming is too much too.
Yeah, I've heard you say
I'm not part of the people doing it. I'm not restreaming Brittany. I'm not going live every day about Brittany, and I have valid reasons to talk about Brittany. She tried to fuck.
That's what I've said. The only one who actually even
In my
has a
real life.
valid reason is Granny, because they've had a history for years. That's a whole separate issue than what's happening now. And I mean, I'm sure if people are sending screenshots, they can find me saying that multiple times. Like, those two have a history. So that's a whole different ball game than whatever this is. And I get she's not great at true crime. She screws it up. She's doing all the things. And I'm like, wow, this is terrible. She's feeding them is the way I feel about it. Like, either she's into this and it's bringing her numbers, or she really thinks all this complaining is helping her when it's really not. It's like going on TikTok and being jealous about Petty being in the chat. I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong with this broad? Is she doing this on purpose? Like, to feed people more content, or what? What is this? Sometimes you just got to walk away. Like, yeah, okay, I might feel like it's excessive, but she keeps feeding it. Every time she says she's not going to anymore, she does it again. So I don't know what to think of her. I think she's I don't know. I don't think there's any help there. No amount of advice that her ex-mods have given her has helped. So what do? You just ignore it, I guess. But all the places I used
Speaking
to
of
go
which,
only talk about fucking Britney now. And I'm like, oh God, I can't.
well, I mean, yeah, that's true. And because it's easy. She's easy content. She poked at all these people first. Now they're responding.
Mm-hmm.
She has the gift that keeps on giving. And believe me, she loves it as much as the next person is fucking helping her.
Is it
But
easy content or is it lazy content?
Go ahead, Naughton.
I mean, it is guaranteed content. If they're going live every day, these people are restreaming Britney. They know. They don't really have to think about any content, do they?
No.
It's automatic now. They
every
restream her.
night.
They make the same jokes. The people in the chat make the same jokes. They don't have to make any effort.
Right. That's why I say it's really lazy content.
It is lazy content, but I do
They
think
don't
Jason makes a good point that there is no getting through to Britney J. She's decided how she wants her life to be, and you're just wasting your breath trying to get her to change. That's why I haven't given her any advice about what she should or shouldn't do as far as the channel is concerned. I'm not wasting my breath.
It's like giving advice to Ziggy. It's not gonna
exactly that. You are just wasting your time and your effort. But the one thing that I have repeated as advice to Ziggy, not that I would waste my time with anything else, is to say to her, please go and see a doctor. And I would the same thing to VJ. Whatever the issue is, please get to the bottom of it.
Yes.
Not just for your sake, but for the fact that you've got young children in that
your
home.
families. Yeah.
And since you had a question.
Well, you and I have talked a lot, Granny and I have talked a lot about how it's became counterproductive because a lot of people just go low. It goes lower and lower and lower. They don't spend time grabbing clips of what she said previously that is a problem with what she's saying now or the things they do. It becomes counterproductive, and it is actually harmful and makes her a further victim. And Granny and I have talked about that a lot. The question I have for you, Chasing, is you said, I don't know exactly how you said it, but you think that, well, they've said I've changed. Oh, Granny just left us. Again, a lot of these people I never engaged with, interacted with, anything. Have I changed? Absolutely, I have. Yep. I'm less tolerant of people's fucking blatant bullshit right to my face. Now, that's here nor there. I just wanted to address that part. That's never been a thing with us. You came directly to me. It is one thing. With the Clue situation, I addressed right in the beginning too, when that was released, I said, hell no, there's no point in this. This is disgusting. I don't stand with this type of behavior. But we're over a year afterwards. Yeah. My question, and something I have always openly asked and had the conversation about, because I'm a white woman, it's not my place to tell anybody how to feel, what to think, if they want to go back, any of that stuff. That is each person's independent choice. When Bird Post asked me to participate in that conversation with her, I was willing because I'm hoping to gain understanding, and same thing with you. At what point do we hope that people no longer use, okay, she was called out, it was addressed. I haven't seen or heard her say anything in that tone since then.
Can we pause there? I have an
Yes,
issue.
please.
I did pause there. I just wanted to get to the end of that sentence. So many thoughts. Carry on, darling.
Yes. Yeah, like if you were a racist a year ago, I have an issue with that. You're not somebody that I want to hang out with. Period. And I've got shit to say about it. You know, I'm never just gonna sit there and listen to that kind of poison come out of somebody's face and be okay with it. Never.
Right. And it's like somebody like Koberg. Well, he didn't do that last week, or he hasn't done that for like a year. So as long as, you know, he doesn't do that anymore, I'll sit with him. The fuck I will.
My issue with this is that you are quite content that she has not been publicly racist, and therefore you're cool with it. Okay, you've set out your boundaries. To me, I would say, how do you know that she just hasn't learned to control her language in front of you? Are you saying that you don't mind racism as long as it's not confronting you, not slapping you directly in the face? If it's quiet racism, is that fine? Where's the evidence that she has any regrets about it? I don't see it. Where's the evidence that she has any second thoughts about what the impact of her thoughts and words on other people? It's funny, these people always want accountability for so many other things, but yet this is one of those issues where it's like, oh, well, she hasn't said it since. It's just the most minor. The bar is on the floor. You know what I mean? You say this, the bar for her to reach is on the floor.
Yes.
Racism is deep in the bone. It really, really is. And I also get very annoyed by this whole, well, I'm a white woman, I'm not going to tell people how to feel. Do you know what? That is such a cop-out. No one is asking you to tell a black person how they should or shouldn't feel about what Clue has done.
Right.
Your responsibility as a white person is the white people around you. Why is it that you can't see that? It is a cop-out to go, oh, well, you know, it's not my place to say anything. Doesn't that make it easy for you? You don't have to confront anything, and you don't live with the results of not confronting it. It doesn't affect your life.
Deets, it was Monday.
This was Monday afternoon.
About the last hour of that live on Monday.
sorry, it was Monday morning, US time. It was at the 5-hour mark. So the last hour, pretty much, of that live. It's just so easy. The thing is that racism is a cultural phenomenon that touches all our lives, and we either choose to ignore it because it doesn't affect us, or become part of the solution. This is something that
Keep ignoring stuff because it doesn't affect you. And guess what? Eventually it'll affect you and you'll want people to care, but nobody's going to care because, well, it doesn't affect them.
I'm going to speak about this from a personal point of view, and I know that some people are going to come at me for it. Like, oh, she always has to mention blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, I'm talking about my experience. My experience is the significance of white women working against racism was that the authorities did not want to have to drag you along the street quite as regularly as a black man. They didn't want to have to try and stop you because they couldn't. Right, a black person protesting in the townships of South Africa would disappear very easily. A bunch of white women outside South Africa House in London protesting and making political impact, using their political power as white people, makes a difference. It's about who had the power to move the situation, okay? It is in the same way as when protests happened, you have the white women at the front because the police were less likely to run into them and start throwing nightsticks around, or truncheons as we call them. It's a protection factor. When you say things like, oh, you absolve yourself of any responsibility to a greater culture by saying, oh, well, you know, as a white woman, it's not my place to say anything, you're copping out. I'm sorry, you're going to feel that I'm confronting you about that because I am. You're taking the easy way out. And what's worse is you're taking the easy way out and you're trying to dress it up as cultural appropriateness. Oh, well, I was a white woman, blah, 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 blah. No, do the work. I don't want to hear your words, do the work.
Right. You know, it's only our place not to tell people of color how to feel. It's that's it. You got to do the work on yourself.
I'm talking about white women talking to white women.
Right.
And you're trying to make it a thing of, oh, well, no, you're sort of being culturally appropriate. You don't want to tell black people how they should feel about this. We're not talking about that. That's not happening. Your opinion makes absolutely squat difference to how this impacts a black person. We're talking about you as a white woman addressing the white woman next to you who's blurted out a whole load of racism, doesn't appear to have acknowledged it, doesn't appear to regret it, and you're fine with it. But you expect us to tolerate that when you are so intolerant of almost everything else that goes on in this sector. I'm sorry, but sometimes the person who calls out the most needs calling.
So where do we hope that people learn, move on, and grow from it?
Could somebody please show me one iota of evidence, other than moving on from the controversy, where Clue has grown from this?
Right. She won the other day. I want to say it might have been on the Bees panel. She didn't address it herself. She had people talking for her and trying to say what it meant. And, you know, when it came right down to it, she didn't have any regrets. She said she stood on it. So, again.
And you know what? That's fine. I prefer my racist said in the open. I know who not to trust and I know who to avoid. It's all this sort of wishy-washy sort of, you don't really want to acknowledge it, you know, oh, well, she makes you laugh. Well, good for you. It won't be your kid being pulled over for the crime of driving while black. And you will do nothing to change that atmosphere because you don't even confront your friends.
Exactly.
and stop just saying, nope, you're not worth having a conversation. You're a racist. That's just the way it is. Fuck you. Or do we hope people change?
Right.
That's something that I have been struggling with, and I've been openly talking about it. As a white woman, I don't have a voice in that arena.
I'm not interested in a conversation with somebody like that. If she does change, brilliant. More power to her. I hope she does. I really hope she does. I hope that she educates herself and becomes better. But I don't have to have a conversation with her to do that. She can go talk to other people. I'm not interested. That's my right.
I just wonder if we would tolerate a man saying, well, you know, I've never experienced sexual violence, therefore it's not for me to have an opinion. You're part of the dominant culture that inflicts the sexual violence. You should have an opinion. Likewise, if you are the dominant culture of white people, as it is in my country, and I believe it still is in the USA, certainly in the positions of power, then it's your responsibility to be part of that conversation. I don't understand why this is so difficult. Or maybe it's not difficult. Maybe this is just your convenient excuse.
Right.
I hear you. I don't think that it's not my place either as a white female. Yes, my entire family is something other than white, whether it's Cape Verdean or black or Spanish or, you know, whatever. It's still not my place. Like, it's not my voice to be had. It just made me uncomfortable personally.
Same.
That was it. You know, I was like, I really don't like this. So, you know, I've waited, I've watched different things and decided, all right, you know, she may not be for me. She's not, in my opinion, no, I have never heard her say anything out of her mouth since then that I could be like, oh my God, that's racist. But she's absolutely stood on her words. And she's totally entitled to do that. When Nanya asked her the other day, you know, did you just not mean that? Or do you feel differently now? She was like, no, I said what I said. And if it makes you uncomfortable and you took it a certain way, oh, well, I'm not here to be liked. Well, there isn't really any way to take it, you know, sending them back. Who? Americans? And that's what B. Tim jumped in with. You know, there's plenty of Americans who don't want to be here and they can be sent somewhere else. Yeah, but, and if that's what she said, I totally would have understood, except it's not. And again, it made me uncomfortable. Just like I said to Granny, it's nobody else's problem. Nobody has to fucking believe what I believe or think that it was too far. No, there's a lot of things on here that I might be like, oh, that wasn't that bad. Other people are like, how the fuck could they say something like that? It depends on where your own personal line is, where you sit.
Right.
And for me, it was just what I, you know, felt like, all right, that was too far. If you can say those things and then not come back and genuinely say, you know what, it really was too fucking far. Whatever came over me, I was in a mood. I don't even know what could even anybody say. She doesn't owe anybody an explanation. Like she said what the fuck she said. Right. And if you don't like it, too bad.
But don't actions speak louder than words? Like, she hasn't said anything remotely like that. So to me,
she hasn't said anything remotely like that in front of you.
Yep.
You don't know what she said anywhere else. If there is no evidence that her opinion has changed, what makes you think that she doesn't still think and say those things elsewhere? And if you're comfortable with that, again, that's your call. But don't stand on the, oh, well, encouraging change and standing alongside people, blah, 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 blah. Just
close your eyes, right? Pretend it didn't happen. Doesn't make any sense. Real quick before we move on, I want to say thank you to Shuby Mom for her super chat. She says, "You ladies are the coolest jerks I've ever met. Great live stream once again." Thank you, Shubi Mom.
I just wanted to quickly acknowledge Metal Clips in the chat. It is a good point. There is a whole sector of Indigenous community that is just overlooked and excluded from this conversation. Like the whole focus is on imported slavery, rather than the fact that homelands were decimated by an invading culture that now considers itself the culture. It's a point well made, and it is overlooked.
Yep.
Her actions are saying more than her words. Like, we want her, what I'm hearing is certain people want her to be apologetic for it or apologize for it, when her actions, in my take or perception, are that something clicked and she hasn't said anything since. So I'm like,
the basis of your belief in change is the fact that she hasn't been openly racist. Again, the bar is on the floor. What is wrong with you?
Okay, so her actions are showing us that she's not using those words or anything. And for me, I have a hard time because I don't see what Clue said very differing from what I've seen Joneson say about anti-Islam.
Okay, I've got to talk about this. I was not aware that this anti-Islam thing had happened. I believe that Jonesy made a post on her community wall. I have not had a chance to read it. I've got to go back and read it. But I will say this. If I were to hear Jonesy say something that made me feel the same way as the things that Clue has said, I would have opinions. It's very... to be specific, anti-Islamic feeling is not racism, it's bigotry. That doesn't excuse it. Do not anybody say that I'm making excuses for it. I'm not. I'm trying to be more specific about what it is and isn't. You've got a problem here with conflicts of religion, in that there are multiple significant religions in the world who all consider themselves the religion. And the people of those religions quite often automatically have prejudice against other religions. I will say that if I hear anti-Islamic conversations, I'm going to challenge that. There is no difference to me between people who would say, oh, let's send all the Muslims back, to saying monkey behavior, let's put them on the boat. That's no different. And if I hear it, I will call it out just the same.
Well said.
It's hating people based on something that we don't associate with or recognize or have experience with. It's the same thing. And the way she tried to justify, I don't see it any different. And maybe that's because of my own ignorance, but I just don't.
I heard that.
So here's the question. If you don't see it any differently, then obviously you must be okay with Jonesy, because you're okay with Clue.
Her logic.
Joneson made a post, and the way I found out about it was because she emailed me, and not emailed, Discord, and said, I'm sorry you're taking heat on this. And I'm like, I have no clue what you're talking about. What did you do? And she explained what she said. Now, I could read it if I could flip over to Discord, but I'm in Chrome, so I don't think I can. But she did explain it, and I was like, I hadn't even heard about this yet, so where am I taking heat? And she's like, well, you're going to, because you've stood on what Clue has said as racist, and I think what I said came off that way too.
Okay.
So that's the one thing that I've heard that Joneson has said. Now, I haven't heard her speak any crazy words like that out of her mouth. If others have, I would love to know, but I haven't heard her say.
No, that's the only thing. But again, like, for me, as a person that values my place in this Like, this is where it gets confusing for me. And this is why it's so frustrating to me, because people are like, nonsense.
I wish she'd finished that sentence. As a person that values my place. I would have loved to have heard where that sentence was going. Because to me, this is one of my biggest issues with your nonsense. You really do have an overdeveloped sense of your importance to this sector and your belief that you're doing some sort of significant work. And I don't understand it. I just can't comprehend it.
Has changed. Me being willing and open to understanding, and everybody has different lines on this. It is such a mind fuck, because I haven't changed at all in that aspect as far as being willing. I thought that's the whole thing, is we want people to do better, to hold themselves accountable, to not use those type of words.
Where has Clue held herself accountable? Could anybody give me the receipts on that, please?
Language, and when you see actions that are saying, nope, we're not doing that anymore, those to me are areas of growth.
I think the change thing was like when they used to do the HOA stuff, you would come over, everybody was chatting. We all felt kind of like a community within our community where we were, and this is going to sound crazy, but fighting the bad guy, and at the time the bad guy was Betty. People who do real life harm to other people, travel to their locations, do the craziest fucking stuff you've ever seen. People like Betty, who I deem as dangerous, because she isn't just sitting behind a keyboard talking shit. She's going to the wells. She's going to Quentin Simons. She's going and doing physical things that are well beyond what you should be doing if you're just talking about true crime. So to me, it really felt like we had created this little community where we wanted there to be change. And it has evolved into something different where people's fucking FOIAs, CPS, animal controls, lawsuits, harassment constantly, bullying, making fun of people, talking about how they look. It's like it became, the whole community as a whole became something totally different than it was a year ago. A year ago, I felt like we were like moving towards something. I remember you used to talk all the time about we can get things changed. We may not have those same numbers as the drama channels, but we can get something changed. And I truly believed in that. And then everything switched over to 24/7 Brittany because she was on the injunction. Now, does she deserve some fucking ass beatings for that? Like virtually? Sure, yeah.
Yep.
But to what extent? Granny can hold her own.
But Jason, it's not.
But now we have 12 channels.
It's not. It's not.
Oh.
But it's not. It's not just because she was on the injunction. That's where the misconception is, because that's what she's pushing. It's because she called people's partners pedos. It's because she said that Clue was selling out her own daughter in her SA situation by her own father. It's for reasons like that. It's not because of the RICO.
Agreed.
It's simply not. And it's unfair to say it is, because if it were.
But the way that.
And again, absolutely no defense of that. No defense at all. I believe that Brittany J did not say that, but she allowed it to happen on her panel. These things said about Clue. Again, my opinion of Clue is low. My opinion is on the floor, like the bar of expectation that nonsense has for her. Nevertheless, no one should be speaking on a situation that has already happened and legal action has taken place. Leave that girl out of your mouth, that situation out of your mouth. Whatever my personal regard for Clue is or isn't, the fact remains that situation created a victim and the perpetrator was punished. That's all you need to know.
Hey, Soup.
Soup. I'm so glad to see you in chat, darling. I can't wait to chat to you later in Discord. Don't worry, we've been okay up here. I'm sort of trying to steer the bus with the screen share. I think I'm doing okay.
Doing a great job.
Fantastic, bro.
I may have the timeline a little off, but I remember the Rico starting, her thinking she was in with all these fucking powerful people, getting a little bit brave, trying to talk shit, which is the shit that you're talking about right now. And then people started going for her throat, right? So the way she's looking at it is, it's just because I signed an injunction. But it's because she signed an injunction and proceeded to think these people were going to have her back, which they never did. Where are they now? None of them are around. She's sitting alone, trying to argue with all these people and looking like a clown for doing it.
If Nunya says that she's... I did some research, didn't hear the word out, but BJ herself said that Clue protects men that hurt kids. Right, well, in which case I've got nothing for you, BJ. You are just as bad as the people that you allowed to directly use that term on your panel. Do you not think that if there was evidence of that there wouldn't have been prosecutions?
So it started off that way, I think, and it's just become insanity now. It's way past the point of anything rational.
To address
I
what you
agree.
said about the
But
oh, go ahead, Granny.
well, I was going to address really quick about like the CPS and PETA calls or whatever. One person said they called CPS and we all called it out. There's no proof that anybody called PETA on there. There's just simply is no truth of it. Like there's no proof. There's no, where's that coming from? So, you know, to run and act like all these horrible things are happening when there's no proof of it, and everybody stood against the CPS, including myself.
I'm sorry, I've got to address this. I don't give a damn what Clue has said or done to Brittany J. You do not weaponize somebody else's victimhood to get back at someone.
Exactly that. You don't, oh, they made me do it. No, be responsible for your own actions. You're an adult.
You weren't just, when you lash out like that, you were not just lashing out at the person that you say has been dealing you a blow, but the fact that there's somebody else behind that who's already suffered enough. It shouldn't even be a conversation.
It's just Brittany and her dramatics again, trying to demonize an entire community. And that's what people are fighting back on at this point. You can't come out here and say we're leading your kids being sex trafficked and think people aren't going to take issue with that.
Yeah. Have you ever looked up the hashtag?
And if I get interrupted again, it's because my Oklahoma attorney's calling. No, I haven't. I honestly, I try not to pay her much mind.
I had to look it up. I heard about it. I looked it up. It's insane. On X. It's
There's
insane.
a lot of shit I don't agree with that's happened.
Yeah, and
well, what's ironic is
blameless?
Brittany was pushing X when it was my docs, right? When Hong and Nick were posting my docs and my father, and they were stalking my child and her employment and reaching out to her employer, Brittany was posting all those X posts. She was on top of the X at that point. It was the greatest thing ever built. But when roles reversed, now it's, you know, she's in danger and blah, blah, blah. I think that's part of the huge issue here.
But again, from the other side, if it was wrong when it was done to you, Granny, it's wrong when it's done to her. I don't know, again, why this is so difficult. No, I'm not defending the fact that she was retweeting stuff that was doxing you. It's disgusting. And now the people who are doing it to her, it's equally disgusting. This is not like some sort of zero-sum game here. Because it is never... It's never just the person. It's the whole family situation. Sorry, darling. What were you going to say, Eliza?
I just said they're like little children. They did it first. It's, you know, we got doxed. I didn't turn around and dox anybody. It was wrong. It was wrong when we got doxxed. It would be wrong if I turned around and doxed the person that doxed me. It's not okay. Like, stand up for yourself. Stand on something. Believe in something. If you think something's wrong, don't go do it because somebody did it to you.
I know it's kind of wild to me that people in this sector seem to think that we say these things and we don't have any personal experience of things done to us and things said about us. We've been accused of being part of an international child grooming network.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I haven't been doxxed, but most of the other jerks have because of Ziggy exploiting the information that she got as a result of running a business. But we've had a lot of character assassination and vile things said, and indeed some of us have had hints about our children being exposed. And that's not just me, I'm talking a couple of us. We've had things as well. We're not sort of speaking from some sort of fluffy cloud of never having experienced any of what this bullshit sector can dish out.
And I think she needs that pointed out more often than not, but it's not being pointed out by you. The most was done to you by her. Like, it was a Granny
Right.
and Britney issue, and then she tried to get slick and add other people in there, like whoever was supporting you, whether it was Nonsense or Jay or Clue or Queen. So I don't know that she knew she was going to be taking on the entire community, but she is now, and
she should have known when she's
out
poking
well
at
for
the
her
entire
because it's
community.
constant.
Okay, but let's be honest here. Brittany started that as soon as I started reviewing her content commentary on what she was doing with Sebastian's case. She instantly went to the she looks like a dude, Lady LaDude, posting shit like that. Like, it became gloves off. I didn't, yes, have I said petty shit? Abso-fucking-lutely. But then it proceeded into I was clipping her children and saving stuff about her children, inciting me to be called a child predator. Then there was accounts
which
made
you
of
clearly didn't do. You clipped them out. So I don't know
well,
why she keeps
right.
But I mean,
I believe that there's some argument about the different sides of who did what about clipping or putting children out or what they knew. I'm not getting involved in that. I don't know all of the facts. I will go, though, to the point where BJ was being a bigot and a transphobe. It doesn't matter that Nonsense is cisgender and identifies as the gender that she was assigned at birth. It is still transphobic insult to say that. You're still insulting a whole community. So BJ, like I said, you're a bigot and a racist, and I stand by it.
Amen.
She evolved that over time, but I agree with you that it's too far. Like, I do try to, when like there's a constructive reason, like right now, last night, she is condoning what Tony is doing to Granny. Meanwhile, she knew exactly what that man was. She knew exactly who he was, all of that shit. Then her misstatements and the constant word salad about, like I said, she don't owe me receipts. I now donating to her fucking whatever she's doing. But when you're threatening an entire community that you're going to shut people up because of XYZ, we're going to follow your own words and the timeline of what you've said about paying for litigation. I'm never going to apologize for that. I do agree with you that it has became 24/7 Britney coverage. Again, not my. We have
no matter where I go to log in to watch anybody, most of the time it's going to end up back on Britney, and I'm like.
Was that comment aimed at us, Lisa? If it was, cry more. I don't care. If you really seriously think that, then your opinion is of no value, because I think we're having a really constructive conversation and you just obviously have an agenda. If it isn't that, I would love you to clarify in a slightly longer sentence.
I missed
there
that.
there are a lot
You can
of
stay tuned to
places.
hear about my frivolous. You can stay tuned to hear about my newest frivolous lawsuit if you like.
Yeah.
But
Is
the
the
thing
lawsuit
is,
against
though, when
you? Is that lawsuit you
yeah,
sued
I'm
against
being
you?
sued by Tony.
Oh my
No, Tony's against me. The Oklahoma attorney's going to call back any second. But when I said that the restreaming was too much, do you know what Brittany said? That I only said that because I'm jealous of the money chasing.
Yeah.
You can't give this bitch empathy.
Yeah.
She doesn't. She's incapable. So I said, fuck it. When I said that calling CPS was wrong.
Okay, I've got to say something in line with Granny's watching here. When I was over at Six Ups and she was playing Brittany talking about Six Up and me and Soup, and Brittany was saying, I don't want your sympathy, you know, like if you can't fully support her completely on everything and she doesn't want you to ever consider anything valid, it's like all or nothing. She does not want you to comment or watch or anything like that. So I can completely sort of accept what Granny has just said. Yes, Granny did make Six Up's domestic violence situation content. And there are a lot of people out here who've done some pretty heinous stuff.
She can add that to the list of the reasons that I listed earlier of why I don't like her.
Oh, right, Lisa, the comment was aimed at Granny. Thank you. I appreciate you expanding on that, and I apologise for being snappy. It's really hard to try and follow context in the chat when you're sort of working on a couple of screens. And like I said, if you had meant that seriously, I would still be fine with that. But thank you for clarifying what you were saying. Yeah, going back to Six Up, the situation with Six Up's ex-partner and the fact that people tried to exploit it on here at a time when we were really worried that she was going to turn up unalived, as the old cliche goes. It was all just sort of like fun and games and entertainment for some people out here. And it's disgusting, and I haven't forgotten that, and I won't forget it.
She only said that because it was probably her and her mods. She helped that woman call CPS. Like, you can't do anything with this girl. She loves it. She wants it.
Well, now it's probably been 2 months because I was seeing her on here so much being reviewed. I just started watching on my own. I'm like, all right, she really isn't too great at the true crime stuff. Her husband talks over her a lot. It's a lot. This is a lot to digest. But then it ramped up again with the channels or whatever, and she's getting an attorney, and I thought, well, all right, she's going to calm down because she's getting an attorney. So she's just going to back off and just stick to the true crime like she keeps saying she wants to do. But because she hasn't done that, it's making me wonder, why are you doing this? Is this to generate attention or views, or is it truly because she believes she's being harassed and bullied? I don't know. I don't know her all these years. I didn't watch her content because I found her to be extremely boring, and that's not a dig at her. Some people find me fucking boring. But all these channels covering like the TikTok stuff and whatever, she should know they're watching. I mean, I'm sure her mods and her friends send her stuff. She knows people are watching her. Yet she's still doing dumb things. So I can't say, oh my God, Brittany, because she's feeding the beast. And as long as you feed it, it's going to eat.
If you truly felt in danger, you thought your children's lives were in danger and all that, would you then start a TikTok? Because that's what she did. She knows everybody's watching.
I wouldn't even be on here if I thought my kids were actually in danger.
Exactly.
I'd get police reports on everybody, restraining orders, and do everything I had to do in private. That's what I said in the beginning, Granny, about this lawsuit, just so that we have it on record on your channel too. Way in the beginning, when this first started and there were so many people on that fucking Rico, I'm like, oh my God, I would never talk about this. I would stay quiet, let my inner circle know. That's it. The comments you got were specific to BJ and them. saying, okay, they already lost. Why the fuck are they still talking about this frivolous lawsuit? Shut up. That was it. And
Can you guys hear me?
That. Yeah.
My attorney's calling. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't think she can hear us now.
Mute. To take it back just a moment too, Chasing, and I just want to touch on this briefly with the HOA stuff. I was okay with coexisting. There was a lot of you that I enjoyed engaging with, having conversations with. There is a lot more to that situation and the unraveling of that than a lot of people know. A lot. But the underhanded shit, like when, and I didn't want to see it that way at first. It really took me back by surprise when they stuck me right next to Sinner, who had been openly disrespectful to me repeatedly on panels where on Jonesins. I went on Jonesins panel with Dietz, Nunya, and Sinner. That motherfucker was so disrespectful to me, but I kept it together. But then that seemed so intentional. And it was. I don't care what anybody says. It was absolutely intentional.
I mean, clearly I've talked to them behind the scenes and
Right.
I've asked those questions. Yeah, I mean, you can ask any one of them to come in the chat right now. I'm sure they're listening, and ask the same questions that I've asked. Like, was that intentional? No, not at all. There were only like 1 or 2 people putting it together, and they just kind of put them in the order that they got them.
Can you believe a grown woman is flipping out about where her clip was in a compilation, that somehow that's disrespect? I cannot understand it. This is like the whole business with Tragedy Pimps Exposed when she did people singing. And unfortunately, Nonsense was there, and I believe that she was next to T-Rev or something. It's just like, it's a compilation. It's not done with,
It didn't mean you were
You're not going to
bestie.
catch cooties. You're not going to catch cooties from being the next clip. For the love of God.
That's so silly.
From what I understood.
Right.
And
Another
go ahead.
unraveling of that situation was the Yep situation for me. And I think that's where people discount what changed. So when the Yep situation got brought to my attention, Cash had messaged me independently and said, hey, do you know anything about her? And I said, absolutely fucking not. By the way, Miss Lee, I love you. I see you in the chat. I didn't know anything. I had stayed away from that group of people because where they had came from and problems I had seen previously. So I didn't know anything about her. Cash made his post and I was like, fuck, this is a big situation.
Again, I've said it before, but I want to take the opportunity to say it again because Cash is being referenced here. I have always supported Cash's right to speak out on his experience of being exploited by Yap. I will never have a different opinion about that. Anybody who tells you different is lying.
I got more fucking heat for putting attention on that and bringing it to light the day. Okay, so I went live, said, hey, this needs to be talked about. At first, I was respectful about it. Then it was addressed, but it was like, okay, I kind of have to address this. Then I was pissed off because I was sent screenshots from Discord from, let me not misquote, a year previous that they had her full name and information.
I believe that that was a private DM and wasn't actually in the public part of the Discord. The idea that Joneson should know everything that's ever said in a private DM is just ludicrous.
But I was chastised. How dare I not consider her children or what she had going on?
See, I've heard that also a little bit different because of them being accused of knowing about these things. So, of course, I asked, like, how long did y'all know or whatever? There are still people, I guess, who are quiet, who were victims of Yeps. So while they, the victims themselves, were suspicious and not really sure if she was telling them the truth, they were doing their own little, look into her. But at the same time, they felt bad. Like, well, what if she really is sick and has all of these things? Then we're like looking at a person who's our friend who really is sick, and we're, they're going to feel like pieces of shit. So they didn't want anybody outing any of it.
I understand.
Forward,
yeah.
Fast forward to whenever it ended up ultimately coming out, when Cash made the post.
Right.
They, the victims, still, as far as I know, from what I've asked and ascertained from the situation, I was not in that Discord. They still didn't want to come forward. They were like, no, he can come forward. He can say what he wants, but we don't want to tell our story. We don't want this talked about.
Which is so right.
Right. So they weren't, quote unquote, protecting Yep for the sake of Yep. They, the victims, and Joneson, because they went to Joneson because it was her Discord. She told them, when you're ready and you want it out, if you ever want it public, it can be. If you don't, that's up to you guys. But Cash made his own decision to take it and put it out there. Then I want to say it was Queen Bella who put the name out. And then I don't know what was going on behind the scenes as far as the victims go, but everybody was scrambling like, fuck, now her name's out there. And I don't know if at that time they had confirmed everything that they wanted to confirm. But when I heard her name, that clicked for me. Like, that lady is really a scammer. She used to be in another community, the name.
Right.
And we got to hear her voice and blah, 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 and all of that. And then everything connected, and it was all for good anyway, because all the information was now put out. But it wasn't by the people who were scammed choice. Right. So I think that's where the issue came in. They didn't choose to have it out, but it was too late.
But that's the thing, is nobody demanded the victim's information or any of them speak out or anything. And I'm looking at a screenshot from a Discord. So I don't know, because I know Discord, if you are step out or there's other rooms or whatever the case may be, I don't know who all saw this. But this is from a Discord from February 13th, 2024, 2:15 p.m. Her full name. Then it's got eyeballs. I guess that's a reaction. 8 criminal records, theft and assault, another eyeball reaction. Yes, at the address you gave me. He's a private, whatever, from 2:13. So that's why I have such an issue with, okay, it was such a big deal when we actually started, when Just For You and you in the chat were putting together, who the fuck is this person? And you guys were like connecting dots. Then I sent this screenshot from February of 2024 that her full name information is already known, but they acted like they had no idea. It just blew my fucking mind. But that's when things really shifted, because then it was because I was taking up for Cash. Yeah, Cash is a really good friend of mine. But
I think everybody wanted to take up for Cash because every community loves them.
Not everybody got accused of exploiting Cash for money and exploiting their child to cash. And there was a lot of people that at one time I considered friends or people I cared about that were very comfortable sitting in those places, or people that I just gave respect. That's when shit really shifted with me, and not necessarily you, because me and you have never had like a personal anything, but that's when the real big shift for me changed. These people were they were privy to the fact that Kenzie was struggling mentally. Cash reached out, they became friends. There was never any exchange of money, but that was openly said over and over again in the soups, the jerks, whatever, many times. And people just went with it. And it was like, are you fucking kidding? And then these same people say, don't talk about children. Yes, she's a fucking adult. She was an adult.
Again, if you'd like to rewind to the start of this live, receipts, including dates and times. There has never been a live on this channel that has discussed the situation with Nonsense's child and Cash. There have never been comments made in this chat because there were no lives during that time. All the receipts are there. Soup, you haven't seen that. It's at the start. I made a video with the receipts. I'd like to see some receipts in return. And if you can't provide me those receipts, I would like you to stop hammering this narrative that is not true.
But that's fucked up. And that's where, for me, it was
It's
done.
still your kid.
Yeah, it's done. Well, especially because Cash came into her life at such a time where she needed a friend. And it was because she was struggling with mental health. And she was open with that online and, you know, behind the scenes. Like everybody knew that's how they became friends, is because Cash was such a good person to our family and her and just was there for her. So to have that, that's where shit shifted for me. And it became a fuck for good.
Fix Up who said, like, don't exploit your child or something?
Yep. And then TPE and the whole fucking thing.
Okay, so.
And then Brittany did a live stream restreaming that live stream. It's in her members only and saying all this shit, including that I was likely behind the accounts that were made on Kyle and shit, that I'm a child trafficker. Yeah, then it just snowballed.
Okay, that's insane.
Yeah.
I remember.
It was not about a child trafficker.
You streamed about them saying you're exploiting your kid, and then they streamed saying they were saying don't put her out, like don't tell her business out here, not exploiting her to cash so she could con Cash.
There were comments in their chat that were not removed.
Okay, I'm saying that.
Yeah, I know.
That's how they explained it. You know what I'm saying?
And that comment there was a lie. If you'd like to rewind, as I say, to the video at the start of this live, you will see that there were no lives on this channel during that time. The last live that we did was Casey Anthony. And then when we came back, we did Ziggy.
Maybe we should.
Sorry, darling?
Maybe we should replay that little video that you played at the.
You want me to replay it now while they're talking about it?
Yeah, we could. Then it's right in there, and people can hear that and hear.
And I think that's pretty much the end of this whole conversation anyway. What I would say before I play this, because I also want to redo the candle video before I have to turn into a pumpkin on the hour. But I want to say that why is it that you're so willing to give Clue the benefit of the doubt, but you're so dedicated to hammering this narrative about us?
Right?
Last Monday, Nonsense was, once again, repeating the already debunked narrative that the jerks allowed abusive comments about her child to be written in their chat, unchecked. This time it was over on Granny's Watching's channel, in a discussion with Chasing. To be fair to Chasing, she did try to challenge that narrative.
I think everybody wanted to take up for Cash because every community loves them. You know,
not everybody got accused of exploiting Cash for money
Mm-hmm.
and exploiting their child to cash. And there was a lot of people that at one time I considered friends or people I cared about that were very comfortable sitting in those places, or people that I just gave respect. That's when shit really shifted with me, and not necessarily you, because me and you have never had like a personal anything, but that's when the real big shift for me changed. These people were they were privy to the fact that Kenzie was struggling mentally. Cash reached out, they became friends. There was never any exchange of money, but that was openly said over and over again in the soups, the jerks, whatever, many times. And people just went with it. And it was like, are you fucking kidding? And then these same people say, don't talk about children. Yes, she's a fucking adult. She was an adult, but that's fucked up. And that's where, for me, it was
It's
done.
still your kid.
Yeah, it's done. Well, especially because Cash came into her life at such a time where she needed a friend. And it was because she was struggling with mental health. And she was open with that online and, you know, behind the scenes. Like everybody knew that's how they became friends, is because Cash was such a good person to our family and her and just was there for her. So to have that, that's where shit shifted for me. And it became a fuck for good.
Fix Up who said, like, don't exploit your child or
Yep.
something?
And then TPE and the whole fucking thing.
Okay, so.
And then Brittany did a live stream restreaming that live stream. It's in her members only and saying all this shit, including that I was likely behind the accounts that were made on Kyle and shit, that I'm a child trafficker, yeah, then it just snowballed.
Okay, that's insane.
Yeah.
I remember you streamed about them saying you're exploiting your kid, and then they streamed saying they were saying don't put her out, like don't tell her business out here, not exploiting her to cash so she could con
There
cash.
were comments in their chat that were not removed.
Okay, I'm saying that
yeah, I know.
That's how they explained it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As you heard, Nonsense is committed to the narrative that the jerks allowed, in their chat, awful allegations to be made about her child many, many times. There's one pretty big problem with that narrative. It never happened. Let's check some dated receipts. The first live about the Yep situation was from Johnson on March 9th, 2025. Nonsense made a Yep awareness live on March 11th, 2025. So let's head over to the Jerks homepage, put the live listings on latest, and check out the lives where all these comments were made. March and April must be teeming with vitriolic live shows. Maybe even May and June. Wait, it looks like there was a massive gap where the jerks weren't even going live. Let's check the dates of the last live before the long break. Our last live before the long break was about Casey Anthony and was broadcast on March 5th, 2025. That's before the Yep situation even became a public discussion. So when was the next one? The next live, about Ziggy, was broadcast on June 30th, 2025. So, where are all those live shows full of chat comments? We don't delete content, and yet there aren't any live shows by the jerks where comments could possibly have been made in the chat and left unchecked. In fact, it looks like your claims are nonsense.
I'm going to have to call it a day here, darlings. I really don't think there's much beyond this that is worth any point of discussion. She's made her points.
I agree. That was pretty much what I got out of it too. I did listen to the end, all the way to the end, and this was the part that I was most interested in discussing about. Do you want to show them?
Okay, you remember that I showed you the Illuminati candle collection last week, and everyone was like, "Where's the toilet? Where's the toilet?" Well, especially for you, my love's in the chat because I can't resist.
Welcome to the House of Jerks, where the artistry of artisanal candle making meets the assholery of being a true jerk. The House of Jerks is proud to announce our new YouTube creator candle collection, designed to capture the spirit of each creator in candle form.
It's time for the Kluman Arty Collection. Let's start where it all began, with the candle commemorating the infamous monkeys on the boat. We also have the classic hood candle, Follow Your Clan. Meanwhile, at the pool, it's our favorite pretty princess in her rich girl pool. Then there's the ever-present Beyoncé. Sorry. I mean fiancé. And finally, by popular demand, the candle that commemorates the unforgettable toilet of doom. As fiancé, sorry, Beyoncé would say, if you like it then you better put a ring on it. Well, it looks like Clue really, really likes that toilet.
The YouTube creator candle collection, more coming soon.
You've done it again, Pearl.
It was amazing.
We love it. Thank you, Chap, for suggesting that. She added that to the collection. It was the perfect addition. And on that note, though, I think we're going to say goodnight. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate you being here. And to the new member, Rockabit, thank you for joining. Josh B, member for 14 months. And thank you, Shubi Mom, for the $9.99 super chat. Thank you all for being here. And we'll see you all again soon. Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Don't like what we do, then you can hit the X. Don't like what we say, you can hit the X. Don't wanna join the crew, you can hit the X. You don't have to stay, you can hit the X. This is not a hostage situation, you can hit the X.
You're embarrassing yourself. Go to bed.